Okay.
Welcome to your Inspirational Astrology Horoscope for Tuesday, August 1st, 2023. I'm Astrologer Dave Palmer, the Leo King, here to illuminate the collective consciousness. Well, Rabbit, it's the first day of the month, and it's a full moon in Aquarius. Thanks so much for being here. And of course, we're here for that full moon horoscope. But if you're not on High Vibe TV, make sure that you are. We got so much going on. Of course, Coyote Star and I did this awesome program that you can now watch. Get it on High Vibe TV, whether it's on the app or the website. Game of Thorns, this Venus retrograde, and going all the way into the eclipses and all the major transits. It was an awesome collab that her and I did. Definitely go to highvibe.tv and click on Game of Thorns. Also, my Saturn Masterclass is happening. And if you didn't know yet out there in YouTube world or anywhere else, on High Vibe, I now have a new subscription that started last month where all my schools and all future schools, which I teach a school for 2 hours a week, is part of a premium subscription, and you get access to every school I've ever done and going forward, and a private group in the app or the website where we all share notes. So every week you get me teaching school. It is the ultimate offer. Go to highvibe.tv or, well, yeah, go to there because you get a better deal. I'm not able to do both subscriptions on apps yet. That's coming soon, though. Well, we're right here at the full moon in Aquarius, and what do I got to say? Well, it's getting weird. And this is some really weird astrology I'm going to go over with everybody here. And at the same time, does it have to be bad? You know, a lot of people, well, I don't know. I'm at the place where, I'm focused on I always have a laugh. That's the whole funniest part. I get so much hate of like, you're so negative, Leo King. And sorry, everybody, that I'm a Leo. The sun can be a little bit too bright for some people. But this full moon in Aquarius is definitely going to try and chill things out as best as it can, although there's a lot of fixed energy going on. We're in a Venus retrograde. Let's go into this astrology, see what is crack-a-lacking for everyone. So definitely we do need to pay attention to this one. Number one, full moon in Aquarius. Now, we've been playing with a lot of Aquarius since 2020. Jupiter, Saturn, of course. Then, of course, we've been seeing Saturn that was there all the way into this year, right? By the second we got into March, boom, Saturn came into Pisces. So we really haven't been playing with too much Aquarius. But oh yeah, wait, Pluto went into Aquarius, but then it retrograded back into Capricorn. So this is our first taste of some more Aquarian energy that we've been through for the last 3.5 years. But we have to remember at the same token, it's kind of like a fake Aquarius, right? A full moon anyways is the illusion of this is the place to where we're getting pulled. Well, the sun is at its home position, domicile in Leo. So we have to remember that this is a Leo sun at 9 degrees here, and we are having this with a 9-degree Aquarius full moon. Now, looking at these, I will say this. This is at a major transition moment that we're all going through. One, we are in Venus retrograde in Leo. Remember, it's stationed in Leo and was in a yod for the last 2 weeks. Now, it's stationed at 28 degrees of Leo. Here it is at 26 Leo. Now, it's not like we haven't seen Venus retrograde in Leo, but we have never seen Venus station and retrograde into Leo. So this is already bringing up a whole new phase of our lives. That happiness is one way to look at it, but I'm looking at it as finding the real courage in your life to really step into this big reality that's changing. What are we really manifesting? We're in major Taurus energy still with Jupiter, Uranus. Remember, Jupiter, Uranus met all the way back in 2010. And Pisces going into Aries at that cusp. So, it's been 13 years since we've seen these two in the same sign. And of course, we haven't seen it in Taurus in our lives. So this one is reminding us here with this full moon that's in square to Jupiter. And at the same time, the sun is with Venus that's retrograde. So both benefics are part of this full moon. But this to me is the full moon that's triggering what we went through in 2021 and 2022 with the shattered reality. When we had Saturn that was in Aquarius and it was squaring Uranus and Taurus. And that big Saturn-Uranus square definitely shattered the reality of what you thought everything was going to go, and it went a totally different direction. Experiments gone bad. Well, this is bringing a lot of that stuff up, especially with Jupiter there to start finally giving us some sort of insight here into what happened, but at the same time, where is this all going? So it's one thing to get to the bottom of things happening, especially with Pluto, that is retrograde back in Capricorn, but of course it's an exact square to the nodes and has been for the last couple of weeks as well. And so, you know, there's a lot that this full moon is covering, that it's highlighting the area in which the future is for all of us. We can feel this future, while at the same time talk about a remodel going on with the Venus retrograde in Leo, and Mercury, of course, that's home in Virgo with Mars. And so there's so much in this chart. Of course, Mercury's going to be in exact opposition, so I'm going to clear all this. We're going to see Mercury here at 5 degrees making its opposition to Saturn. Ugh. Now, to me, I'm looking at it as one, and we have to remember that Jupiter is also in trine to Mars, but don't let that Jupiter-Mars trine just make you feel like all fluffy and everything like that, because Jupiter is making some very hard aspects and some very weird angles, and so is Mars. And I'll go into that in a second. But we have to remember that we're dealing with all this Virgo energy, and this is what makes it very weird. What is going to win in this one, in this opposition, in this tug of war? I mean, Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. We have Neptune in Pisces retrograde at 27 degrees, and here's Saturn. That's retrograde with Neptune. And then, of course, Mercury is the ruler of Virgo, and there's Mars with it. Now, we do have a North Node in Aries now that we just entered into just weeks ago, which will be here for the next 18 months. So dispositing that as Mars, and Mars is with a ruler, so this Mars-Mercury definitely is winning. And this is what's hard. Leo wants to have fun. Leo wants to be a child. Leo wants to have a lot of good times. Even when people hate us, we're still laughing. Well, at the same token, this is a lot of Virgo. It can feel boring, and then there's a lot of Neptune, which can feel super sloppy all the way to the most imaginative. Well, there's definitely some problems here. This is a remodel going on in Leo that hasn't happened in a long time, right? We haven't seen Venus station retrograde in Leo since the 1800s. So we're going back, you know, to look back at like where's the courage? And I mean, thank God Venus is retrograde in Leo, to be honest with you, because I'm not going to lie. I've never seen the planet with more uncourageous people than I've ever seen, ever. In every past life, people had more courage than now. You know, people think they have courage because they finally got out of their house, got in their minivan, and went through a drive-through fucking car wash, and I did it. Oh my gosh! So, you know, to me, this is all about courage. North Node in Aries, Mars trine Jupiter, Mercury though having ways that can seem more boring. Of course, this full moon in Aquarius is bringing up the future. It's bringing up where we want to connect to, yet at the same token, Sun and Leo, where we are stationing our deep needs and wants, especially when we have that energy of Jupiter and Uranus that are wanting to go on the craziest Indiana Jones adventure, searching for the creation, the better life, the way that we can go in a much more physical realm. But this is all about getting your shit together. You know, Neptune and Saturn and retrograde and Pisces is very sloppy. And so this Mercury and Mars is trying to clean things up, or at least get things back on track while we're looking ahead into the future. But we have to remember that we're nowhere near the future yet. Some of it is showing up, but as far as like where we all as a collective see the future, whether it's aliens or whether it's God knows what those aliens did to those experiments. At the same time, we're not fully there yet, although we're piercing the veil as much as we can with Pluto here. And this brings up definitely a trash can, in my opinion, of a lot of situations in life where we've put a lot of stress on ourselves, where we can also remind ourselves, too, that maybe that stress is caused by not staying on track. This is definitely a time to get back on track in your life. Stay on track. It might feel like boring. If you just look at this chart, I'm sorry to say, and you look at all these angles, it's fucking weird. Okay? Not going to lie. I'm not going to be the person that's just going to pump you all up with some full of it's wonderful moment and blah, blah, blah. Look at this. You know how many quincunxes are in here? You know how many semi-squares are in here? You know how many sesquiquadrats are in here? I mean, it is fucking weird. Look at all those biceptiles. I mean, it is wild. Okay? This is not normal. All right? We also have to remember we have 4 planets retrograde. We got Pluto that's retrograde and it's squaring the nodes. So where are we going? Oh, we're still searching for that. We're looking into the future, and this moon is stuck between Saturn and Pluto. So this is bringing up everything since January of 2020 still. It's so funny to me that every year and every big transit, there's something about that Saturn-Pluto conjunction that just keeps coming back, or even the Saturn-Neptune square that we were one in 2022. And so to me, this full moon is stuck between a space of making us maybe feel like we're still stuck when really maybe we're not. Maybe it's not some breakout moment. The idea that things need to break apart, or things need to change, or things need to be in a different place, or things need to go a different direction. Maybe with all this Jupiter-Uranus energy, with Mars trine Jupiter, with Mercury conjunct Mars here in Virgo, maybe it's you just realizing that maybe if you're just searching for something to find happiness in, you're already lost. This isn't a search for happiness. You already are happy. You don't search for happiness. Especially relationship-wise, with the South Node being in Libra here at 28 degrees, we saw that yacht of Venus, even Mercury, of course, while they were making their quincunxes over to Neptune and Pluto in that sextile, we've already been seeded with everything that's beautiful in our life. The idea that, I can't wait for something to become more beautiful. It's like, no, everything already, especially when you're in all these retrogrades, and we're going to have more during this Venus retrograde, we're going to get to the point where we almost are going to have full-blown 7 retrogrades, on the day that Venus stations direct. So this is definitely a time where, there's this energy of wanting to move forward. But really, I think this is a moving forward of like, what do you already have that's amazing? What is it that lights you up already? Are you really as trapped as you might think you are? I mean, we could definitely feel like we're in a space between spaces, not just because of Saturn and Neptune and Pisces, which hasn't happened in 500 years. Pluto squared the nodes, which of course is very rare, and especially at this moment, as we've seen Pluto been squaring the nodes. Even when Pluto was in Aquarius and the nodes were in Taurus and Scorpio, and now we're seeing this from a cardinal standpoint. So it's more about like, what are you having issues with on staying on track? What are you having issues with about remembering that the time that we all want things to be, especially collectively, or when it comes to this new idea of Earth or these new things, we're not there yet. Pluto's still in Capricorn. So that ship is going to keep on sailing, even if it only has one sail left, no rudder, and one captain and not even a first mate left. That Pluto is determined, but it's getting to the bottom of how are we identifying our realities? And we got to start with ourselves first. This is the problem whenever we have a full moon in Aquarius, because the sun is domicile in Leo. It's its home, right? Sun's back at its home. It rules Leo. And that's a full moon in Aquarius, worrying about the world too much, worrying about the future, worrying about emotionally, where are things going? How is this going? How's the kingdom going? How's my life looking? How's my relationship looking? How's my connections and all that stuff? So this is that social paradigm, and at the same time mixing with your own personal, and we have to start with our personal first. Especially with Mercury opposing Saturn, Mercury's going to win that one. And so Mercury's trying to say, keep your head, like this, I've been saying this on High Vibe, and this I think will relate to a lot of people out there in the more public space. It's like Aladdin. He really is not a prince. You fucking had to use a genie. If you're looking for a genie, you're fucked right now. Okay? Or if you're trying to turn something into a genie moment and wish upon some star that's going to come true, what's going to come true is what's actually happening, what's actually real. This is not a great time to make a wish. from something that doesn't exist. This is about what exists already. This is about what you have already. And so if you're looking for issues that you're going through in your life, because these are some very complicated situations that we're all in, but maybe is it very complicated? I wouldn't say it's very complicated. I think it's more the complications that we're causing on ourselves about worrying about the future too much or worrying how certain events are going to happen into our life. You know, I'm going to be a father in the next week to week and a half max. And I have no fucking idea what that's going to feel like. I can try and assess as best as I can, but I'm not freaking out and overthinking it. I'm looking at what already is. Well, Sophia had to be pregnant for 9 months. We had to work together as a team unit to make that happen. But of course, she takes the brunt of that one and the beautifulness of that. So, but it's one of those things to where it's like, if I were to try and wish for a baby now, and my life partner, my fiance, the mother of my child hasn't been pregnant for the last 9 months, ain't gonna happen. Unless you're some fucking creepball fucking liberal out there who likes to be a pedo and fucking go traffic. So, like, that's where we're at. Like, people are losing their minds right now because you know what? They're too worried about what they can't have. Venus retrograde in Leo. I want the shiny object. I can't have it though. So there can be a lot of regrets this full moon. I should have been doing this more, especially the sloppiness of all this Saturn and Neptune energy, right? The regret of what you didn't do, especially the regrets of what was the world doing in 2021 and 2022? Were you falling for that shit? Because you all have massive regrets right now. Massive. Shit, I shouldn't have fucked with my body like that. Am I natural anymore? Do I have all these natural rights anymore? Now, I'm not saying you don't, but it's an interesting question because the questions during this time is Mercury's trying to get to the reality. What's actually the truth? What's actually real? And what actually is going to be working here? Mars in Virgo can be very stressful. Looking at reality, very intense. Can be very bold, very intense action, and especially whether it's the mouth and how we speak, whether it's the mind, whether it's anxieties. It's only going to be anxieties about regrets about the past, what you didn't do, where you got too sloppy. Oh, you always wanted to have a kid, but you were too afraid? Oh, shit. Did I trigger you? We can get triggered from lots of places, especially this is about learning to not be so triggered. But it's also about learning to find compassion at the same time about like, hey, you know what? Now I at least know why I should be doing this now, or I should start moving with this. But you need to have an understanding of the expectation of how reality works. You know, this is a lot of Taurus and Uranus, Taurus energy with Jupiter there in Taurus. And that Jupiter is in semi-square to Neptune. So both rulers of Pisces are in semi-square. Ooh, Aladdin. To me, that's Aladdin. Like, make me a prince when you're really not one. And then you think you're going to convince Jasmine. And she's like, oh, I'm a princess. And looks like she was on some fucking Prozac that fucking Jafar was giving her 24/7. So it's already weird enough. Like, this is where people can become hypnotic about things that make no sense. Especially this idea of, I need a breakout and I need a change. This moon stuck in between Pluto and Saturn. Now, of course, it was way worse over the last 3 years. Every time the moon was passing that Pluto and then passing that Saturn, it was really tight. Now, at least we're seeing a nice 37 degree orb here. That's nice, but it's not nice enough. If anybody was born with a chart like this, you know, that's going to be a tough emotional life. Not easy at all. Pretty fucking rough, to be honest with you. So, you know, when it comes to our personal lives, this is where it feels like, where is it going? How is it going to feel like? Over analyzing it and at the same time then chucking it up to, well, maybe I just don't give a fuck anymore. This is that Pisces Virgo axis that's doing it. But when the sun's in Leo, it always gives a fuck. When Pluto's in Capricorn, it always gives a fuck. When Pluto's squaring the North Node in Aries, it gives a fuck with Mars and Virgo. It needs to get this shit going. But you got to be easy on yourself, and you have to understand, like, what are the things with Jupiter and Trine that are positive here that already have been going that you can continue to keep moving forward with and keep doing. Stop looking at the thing that you can't do and being mad about it. At least maybe make a new step forward. Maybe try a new way to approach things. But you have to remember, we're in a lot of retrogrades, and the retrogrades are going to keep on coming. So it's not like our review is even close to even understood. The makeover in our life is not even close to understood, especially when it comes to our courage. The only people that you'll really actually meet right now that actually understand courage are Leos, and Leos with Leo Venuses as well, or people with Venus Leos. You know, like, at the end of the day, we just want to have a good time, and we don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. We care more about the good time. And whoever's having the bad time, they can just take a nice walk, and we'll make a joke about them. But that's what's hard about this, is that full moon in Aquarius is bringing up that exact position. It was at 9 and 10 degrees that we saw Saturn square Uranus. And there's Jupiter now in square to this full moon. So this is about, people wishing. And this is why you're seeing all the fluff right now in the spiritual community. Like, be more positive. I mean, that's not always a bad thing, but it's at the same time with Mercury and Virgo, Mars and Virgo, it's like, let's get to the fucking real shit here. Let's get to the bottom of shit with Pluto squaring the nodes and Pluto and Capricorn. And we've been seeing these cool Earth energies in this grand trine that's been happening. But this moon's in Aquarius. And it's an air. And the only thing that's sharing this air energy is the South Node in Libra, which is in an exact semi-square to Mars. Ooh, so that's the North Node's dispositor squaring the South Node. And Venus is retrograde. That's dispositing that South Node. So Mars is almost like, you're in makeover moment. And especially, we're going to see Venus disappear from the sky now. So, that masculine energy right now is ruling the roost, whether you like it or not. Mars at its normal speed, everything else is not. Nothing else is even close. Mars is the only one going to gain any speed and will stay continually throughout this retrograde and these retrogrades all the way through the rest of this year. We're not going to see. The only other planet will be Mercury after the retrograde in Virgo, and once we get into October and it finally comes into Libra. All right, so we have to remember here, nothing is moving much, except, of course, and I'm not talking sun moon wise, but planet wise, is Mars. So when Mars is semi-square this South Node in Libra with Venus that's retrograde for the first time in your life in Leo, pure Leo the whole time. This isn't about finding diplomacy. This is about understanding 100% in your life what needs to, work, and that you need to stay on top of and not be in an uncertain place. I'm unsure if I'm happy. That's weak. That's not courageous. That's weak. This is the problem with South Node in Libra. I don't know. Maybe I like him and I like her and but I don't know which one I want more. Oh my God. So there's a frustration, and it's not so much about another person. It's about you and where you become indecisive, or where you just sit and watch the fucking life go by. Should I do this? Should I not do this? Should I do anything about it? And just watching all this Pisces energy with Saturn here, which is teaching us to say, and it's trying its hardest with Neptune there, but Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. So we have to remember that Saturn's trying its hardest to be like, okay, get back to reality. What the fuck's going on here? Stop taking so much fucking ayahuasca right now. You know what I mean? Stop fucking taking fentanyl, motherfucker. Like, wake the fuck up. Like, I don't know. I don't care. Boom. Mercury and Virgo is trying to do the same thing. So actually, I like this Mercury opposed Saturn because they're both trying to wake the fucking masses up and they're trying to wake people up out of their slumber. Oh my God, I don't know what to do next. Why? Because at the same time, you have Neptune at 2725 making a quincunx now to the south node. Ooh, owie mama. And kind of weird, but we just finished it. But when Venus was at 27 degrees on the 31st of July, it was for, I don't like to use yods with nodes, but because we've been in such yod energy from so much of that Venus, Pluto, Neptune that we finally got out of, I threw in the yod yesterday in my horoscope. But, you know, it's like, we have to remember that everything keeps pointing at Venus, Neptune. And what's even more ironic and weird is the planetary north node of Neptune is right around and exact where the sun is going to be passing by this week. But more importantly, where Venus is going to station direct on September 3rd. So is it okay to dream? 100% yes. But, and there's a but, shit you already were doing. You know, financial is coming up big. Financial markets, what's happening financially, especially with all this Earth energy, but even having Jupiter and Uranus here in Taurus, and we're having Mercury, Mars, and Virgo. So it's coming up to like, do you have your shit together? Where have you been slacking in your work life, maintaining your reality, maintaining your backyard, maintaining your fucking garden, maintaining your fucking garage? When was the last time you vacuumed out your car? Like, I know that might sound like stupid shit, but these things pile up so fast now. Because the more you push things off right now, the sloppier and sloppier and sloppier it's going to get. So, going to be an interesting moment here for us this full moon. What are we releasing? The fake world. The world that was overblown in proportions, the world that was overblown with promises that really had a deceptive twist to it. Feeding you lies baked in the name of love. To suppress you and to not have the courage to realize that you have to be your own courageous force in this life. This is not a time for you to, because I've been telling people on High Vibe for weeks, the energy's subtle, yet it's not subtle, right? It almost kind of feels like big shit's happening, but we're kind of like, yeah, I know it is. I'm just kind of waiting for the next shoe to drop. That is scary. And the reason why that's scary is because we've already hit the critical mass of just the beginning now of finally starting to see what was seeded, what was so hardcore hidden, popping itself and creating a chain reaction of events that continue to show themselves, whether it's from government or whether it's from, look at financial systems, but even more important, whether it's fucking aliens, whether it's, I can go down the list fucking all day long. I already told you, I prepared people for this one for a long time. Exact dates too. So, what, why are you feeling so subtle? Well, probably because you're still fucking just saying, it's going to be okay, without realizing that it's only going to be okay when you find your courage. When you learn to bring to the world the new makeover that's happening of your courage and your abilities to actually bring what we call love. And you know what? That word is thrown around so much in this community, and so is light. And that's not a bad thing, but it's just like gotten overplayed out, and now it's turned to where dark people throw it around fucking 24/7 just to like, oh my God, you're not being love and light. No, you know what? You're being a little fucking not courageous person, which all love and light is the highest form of courage. And that means speaking up with Mercury and Mars here. Which remember, Mercury's going to retrograde in Virgo. And it's getting ready to come into its shadow. So we have to remember that this Mercury is with Mars, and it wants to get to the bottom of things, and Mercury's trying to catch up with Mars during this full moon. It's trying to catch up, although it's slowing down every day. It's at 1:17, 1 degree and 17 minutes. So every day that goes by, even though, yeah, it's almost double the speed. It's so weird watching all these planets that have been trying to catch up with Mars, and they just don't. So it really is about being a leader now. It really is about not being afraid. It really is about putting yourself out there in the biggest way. You can't just keep playing your own weird diplomacy in your mind and keep slacking about things and keep being a part of the stupid matrix. This Jupiter trine Mars to me is an awesome trine because it's, what are you doing? Your gift is only given when you are doing something. It is not when you are not doing something. It is not from your imagination. It's when your imagination is taking action and it's actually happening. But the problem with this chart and the complications, just looking at every fucking weird aspect into this and where it gets weirder is, I feel like a lot of people are going to be let down because they're expecting some wish to happen when you have to actually have the physical aspect to it. You have to actually be doing it. You know, this is about walking and talking at the same time. This isn't about imagining and not walking and not talking. It's another thing too. It might be easy to talk about it and imagine it. It's another to walk it. The only true energy I feel that will be so blissful in this moment are the things that really are really in alignment to the you in yourself that really has the courage to be part of the counterculture and get out of this fucking crazy fucking culture that was like a big lie and that lied to you, to your face every fucking day. In your newsfeed, on your fucking Facebook, on your Instagram, on your fucking everywhere. And you know, when we saw Uranus in semi-square to Neptune from 2018 through 2021, that was when the media lied to the people the most we've ever seen in our life. They lied about everything in 2018. They lied about everything in 2019, heavily when that was exact. And in 2020, they were lying the whole fucking time. And in 2021, they were lying the whole fucking time. So where are you lying to yourself? Because now this is Jupiter, but this is also the media ready to blow up the idea that everything's fine when it's not. Jupiter, semi-square Neptune. You can feel it's not. Don't keep trying to love and light. It's fine. That's the wrong thing. That is accepting the false light. Oh, yeah. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. The economy is just fine. Everything's just fine. Oh, no. The experiments went bad, but good thing it didn't happen to me. Really? You know? The biggest lie right now is being told, which is it's all smooth and everything's having a soft landing. Uranus is laughing because it's very hard to predict Uranus, right? But by next year, when we come into the spring and Jupiter and Uranus meet, Uranus can finally tell Jupiter, like, hey, motherfucker, I'm your fucking grandpa. You should have fucking listened to me. You fucking fell for it. You really thought it was going to be smooth? We're about to fucking disrupt this motherfucking place so fucking crazy to get right back to a fucking reality that actually is real and not so fucking fake. This is that underlying Pluto that also has been in quincunx, right? And part of a yod to Venus that's stationed retrograde, but it's in square to the nodes. And then the south node being in Libra here with Venus in Leo and retrograde, they're starting to separate in that sextile. And Pluto too, right? But they will all meet again. And we have to remember that no matter what you're trying to smooth over in your life, that's the area that you need to be focused on. This is where, especially a full moon in Aquarius, wants to try and fix things. What's there to fix? Is there anything really to fix? That's what Virgo does too. Mercury, especially in the opposition to Saturn, it's like you can't fix somebody who's zonked out. Okay? You can do your best, but if they're addicted to being zonked out, they're going to keep being addicted, especially with Jupiter semi-square Neptune. There's people who are still addicted to the fucking matrix. They're still addicted to the lie. They're still addicted to the media lie. And media is a lot more than television now. It's fucking everything on your phone, right? Especially mainstream aspects and all that shit. Everything here on YouTube, 99% of it's a lie. That's the irony of this whole misinformation shit. Because the alien drop, it's just this. Oh, well, we're having financial problems. We need to do this now. So, but there's aliens. That's why there's a problem. Oh. You really think they're going to tell you the truth? I've learned a lot being an astrologer and warning people about all these transits for so long and using that Neptune semi-square. But we have to remember at the same token, it is really weird that Saturn and Chiron have been in a semi-square too. And there's people being sacrificed right now that are not paying attention, that are just trying to, everything's normal. Just keep going with the flow. It's like, just keep sacrificing me. And this is about leadership. North Node and Chiron now. You might feel like the odd man out, the odd person in life. You might need to find your own space in a world that's full of fucking people that have fallen for not just even a spell anymore, but actually know it's a spell and choose to fucking keep following it. It made more sense years ago. We're at a place where now it's not even cognitive dissonance anymore. It's actual, I want to completely fucking ruin my life because I want to feel part of some sort of harmonic balance in the universe that's fake. The disharmony in the universe right now is from people who have lied the biggest they ever have. And so Neptune, Jupiter, Uranus. Jupiter and Neptune met in 2022. Now here's Jupiter with Uranus. Then Jupiter and Pluto in 2020. Jupiter's winning with the 3 outer planets. This is the last one. And it's Uranus. So if you thought that the party has fucking even started, it hasn't started. That was the suppressed dirt, woo, let's just keep it kind of hush hush and let's keep it in the background. This Jupiter in every form is squaring this full moon. And it's reminding me of the shattered reality. And what's even crazier, as you heard me for years say, shattered reality in December 2020, I'm like, shattered reality, you're all going to be lied to about this shot. It's not going to work. Blah, blah, blah. Come on. What do you think this full moon's going to start doing? You thought it was shattered fully? No. Now Jupiter's about to drop some fucking bombs and show the dunces in the room. But at the same time, it won't be seen easy because Jupiter is trying to get smoothed over by Neptune in that semi-square. Oh, no, don't. And Saturn at the same time, too, that's been in sextile to Jupiter, which has been pretty positive to keep things at least from going fucking ape shit. But remember, that exact sextile is already done. They'll get close. Jupiter will retrograde back to 5 degrees this year, and Saturn will retrograde back to 0, and they won't meet up again in an exact sextile. So we've already used our chance card. We've already used our guarantee for the last 3.5 years that we can kind of keep things stable. This is the full moon that says stability was the past. The only stability now is the courage to light your own way, the courage to face what feels like a very uphill battle, but the integrity of whether or not you're going to actually be somebody who just falls for the same bullshit, or if you're going to be somebody who's going to stand up for the true energy of what love is the courage to actually see what's going wrong in the world, what's going wrong with the collective, what has been a complete fucking psycho lie that is continuing and continuing and continuing and continuing. And that's whatever it is to you. This is also a very difficult one because a lot of people are falling into the trap of religion with Saturn and Neptune and Pisces. Oh my God, religion will save me. Well, no, you'll save yourself. Remember, the religious organizations all were part of the same lie. So, nothing against religion. I'm just saying that the origins of humanity are not what we all thought it was or programmed was. The history, this is Neptune and Pisces. Remember, this is Neptune at 27 degrees, right? These are the degrees to where back in 1857, 1858 were so fucking extreme that it caused division. People who were psychotic enough to believe in slavery. And you're seeing it again. And, you know, the crazy part about this full moon too is learning to be okay that normal is unstable. It's the only thing that's constant and stable is where the planets are going to be in life. And this is about the courage to have fun through all that. It's the courage to remember that if you get booed for being your honest truth, your natural heart, I'm sorry to say, Leo is the lion. It is not a fucking little mini cat. It is not an Aquarius, a human that is above the clouds with pouring water while not being on the cloud. Like it's not that. It's a lion. It's the only one with the highest courage. It's the only one that will fucking say no and will say yes and still have cubs, laugh, play while the whole instability of the fucking Sahara Desert is happening. While the aliens are bombing fucking pyramids and shit, the lions will still be playing, laughing, and killing their food and their prey to eat and not be paying attention to whatever the fuck those fucking those fucking rhinos want to do over there, or those fucking weird giraffes over there want to do. Like, that's the problem. This is any astrologers trying to throw this fucking astrology up to you, like, fucking, here you go, it's full moon Aquarius, it is a great time for you to connect and be with friends, blah, blah. Shut the fuck, tell them to shut the fuck up. They haven't even gone into, this is not normal. This is not normal. Just look at those angles. That is fucking, those are aspects that are just screaming, yeah, there's aliens, we just don't know what they are. Yeah, part of the lie is the whole time they've known. Part of the alien idea isn't just beings, but it's a conscious realm that's infiltrated here for a long time and been part of it. The other part of it, too, is the fuck's happening with the fucking weird frequencies on this earth. This is definitely all happening at the same time. And it could be a lot for people. And this is where Chiron North Node Aries is bringing up, whether it's war energy, there's going to be people that are going to the draft soon. It's not simple to have the courage and also to be a truth warrior through these times, not because you're getting resistance anymore, although the resistance is coming from people just like, be positive, keep smoothing over the lies, instead of trying to say that you're misinformation now or whatever. Now it's like, no, I don't want to, I just want to repress that. Stop bringing it up. I just want to repress it. It's just like somebody who gets traumatized in the world, right? Let's not talk about it. I don't want to 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 look at it. Well, this Mercury opposed Saturn is like, that's the problem. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want to look at the truth. You don't want to keep figuring this shit out. So, and you know, you can look at it like, oh, these people, the government, they were doing this and all their plans were weak. This is the universe pushing everybody to see in this fucking lifetime and in this incarnation that you have here, and who's going to fall for the cheese and be the mouse that gets caught and who's not. For some reason, God wants to know who's fucking the real deal and who ain't. Now, I'm not putting judgment on that because I don't know what God's judgment is here for this. But we are at that place where there is no more return. There is no genie, okay, that's going to just pop out of a bottle and just fucking give you the wish of your lifetime without the physical reality of whatever it is. Like, this is a time for you to get back on track. And this is going to be testing your integrity because Pluto is not done with Capricorn. It won't be done until the fucking end of fucking November, right, of 2024. Ironically enough, it's going to be at the last degree of Capricorn during the election. We're all going to get fucked. So, you know, you have to remember, what was Pluto's role in Capricorn for the last 15 years, going on 16 next year? Who's built of integrity? Who is smart enough from a understanding of an earthly way of knowing how to keep getting through this shit no matter how fucking crazy it is? It was in square to Uranus. Pluto and Uranus have been squaring fucking this whole last decade. And this is going back to the 60s when they met up in 64 and they were post Saturn and Pisces, Chiron. You know, it's like there's a nuclear silo of humanity that's waiting to come out and make a big, massive critical mass and let this out. But no, they want you to feel like it's some external thing, and that's the problem. You know? There's only going to be very few that are going to make the change. There's not going to be many that are going to have the courage. Many people just want to fall in line, get back in the car wash, get the same minivan as their neighbor, and fucking, I got a job, and fucking just keep going. And there's integrity in that, but that's also a system that's 100% going to fail. Guaranteed. Follow every Pluto Capricorn transit. Catholic Church, that was done by Martin Luther. And by the end of it, Henry VIII said, fuck you. The last one, Revolutionary War. France, independence. New systems, new monetary aspects, new leaders, old places of power dying. So, why are you being a fucking Tory and continuing to attach to, I don't want this system to fall? It's never been worse. It can feel like timelines are being messed with, but really, it's Neptune and Jupiter in semi-square. It's Uranus and Jupiter, right? You're quantum leaping out, or you're double quantum integrating the fucking BIOS of a fucking failed system that you just want to keep running the fans the same way. You want to run the CPU the same way. You want to run your reality in the fucking matrix, and you want to just keep it to extend. You're either, and it's not the timelines are changing. If anything, it's all coming to singularity, right? That's what this critical mass has been. We're all on the same timeline. The idea that people are in other timelines and all that shit right now, sorry, we're all on the same timeline. It feels weird. It doesn't feel like we're all connected. That's the weird part of this full moon, right? We want to feel like we're all connected, but really a lot with Chiron and Aries, it feels like you're all alone. North Node and Aries feels like you're all alone, and it's this wound of being alone. When it's anything but, it's only going to be the loud ones, the extroverts, that are going to save the world. The introverts aren't going to save the world anymore. You can be introverted and extroverted, but, you know, being in your introverted self is good for moments, but it's the extroverts that are going to start to bring people together, to start to talk things out loud, to have the courage to do things. That's what this Venus retrograde in 1772 did. And it was Samuel Adams. He was a county clerk, a Libra, and he was in the courts. He was a clerk. And fucking, he fucking started getting all the fucking people in the 13 colonies start doing the meetings to form the Continental Congress. So, yeah, you know, you might think, oh, it's not me. Well, it could be anybody. But it's going to be the people who are going to have the courage to fucking, why aren't we all getting together and fucking getting at least 29 states together and rewriting the amendments in the Constitution and doing a convention of states? That's the only way in the Constitution we can rewrite things and get rid of Congress or even the president, the executive branch, to fucking say what it should be and not. You can override that shit, but nobody's trying to rally that up. Even your favorite person in this fucking play of like who's president next and all that shit, you don't see any of them trying to do that. No, vote for me and I'll fix it. North Node Chiron is a painful life only when you are not doing your greatest work, which is being the ultimate spiritual guide. And you know, I was born with that transit very tight in Gemini, and so trust me, I was the last person on earth that thought I would be this person. Last person. But when it's an Aries, you got to be a warrior. And it feels like, gosh, am I picking up my courage and nobody else is picking up their courage around me? Yeah. It's going to be the person right next to you that's not going to pick up their courage. It's going to be the person at the store that you try to talk to about something. It's going to be the person, and that's the other part of this full moon in Aquarius. It's like, no matter where you go, you're going to find more people that don't have the courage than do. So the only way to change that is to be the courage yourself. And you'll find others that way. Other people with courage can only find other people with courage. And so when you have North Node and Chiron and Aries, you feel alone. And you feel like the energy within you is in somewhat way like deprived of the identification of what you think things are, or the way that you identify with what you think life will be, especially with the squares to Pluto from the nodes, right? It's like, shit. Does anybody follow the rules anymore? Does anybody fucking care? Does anybody have integrity anymore? Does anybody have the true grit anymore? Does anybody follow any rule, or are we just throwing all the rules out with a fucking handbag? And are we just did we just genetically like Jurassic Park the whole entire 72% of the population? Watch Jurassic Park. Watch Lost Kingdom. Like, you know, that movie series is not a joke. They were warning you forever. You fuck with your DNA, you start genetically engineering shit, and guess what happens? The fucking dinosaurs start changing sex and start reproducing when they weren't supposed to. Or, in this case, causing reproduction rates to go down and excess deaths to go up. The weird part is how many people just keep dying on. Everybody just keeps dying. You just keep seeing death. I warned you all. I told you all was going to come. Just go watch my fucking video on YouTube. That's the top one. All my predictions from the fucking past of 2016, 17, 2018, 2019. Warning you all, motherfuckers. And so this full moon shattered reality. You thought that all the glass shattered? No, we haven't even seen the glass hit the fucking ground yet. And this isn't about me trying to say people are wrong and they're fucked up. It's more like we need to unify. That's the positive part of this full moon in Aquarius. But can we? People have their pride. Their pride's too much. You know what? I don't want to be embarrassed that I have to admit that I'm a fucking, especially now with North Node Chiron, that I'm a fucking leper. That just came out today. The leprosy's back and it's in Florida. I don't want to feel like a leper. I don't want to admit that I fucking chose to lick a leper's fucking mouth and fucking weird fucking leprosy on their arm. At CVS. Think about that. North Node and Chiron, people are too afraid in Aries to be honest with where they got fucked. North Node and Chiron in Aries is, I don't want to feel like I'm singled out. You're not being singled out. You're part of the mass, the 72.6%. We're all trying to help that didn't follow that. And if you notice the life in people who didn't take that, talk louder. Have a life, have a soul, have an expression. What happened to the people that did take it? Like, where is that? What, they disappear. Why do you think all the actors disappeared? Why do you think? I mean, it's fucking creepy. So we're trying to fucking win together. We're not trying to fucking push you away. We're trying to say, we need you, because how else are we going to get through this fucking crazy shattered reality? Diplomacy ain't going to work anymore. South Node in Libra, you just can't keep it chill anymore and just think it'll just go away with Saturn, Neptune, and Pisces. We're dealing with, heresy that you helped contribute to making a person like me and others, the other 3% of us, ironically enough, the exact, if you do the point too, I think it's 72.6%, you fucking do 23.4, that's the fucking tilt of our earth. That's the fucking declinations that we know when something's out of bounds when it gets to that degree. I mean, like, it cannot be more written in the stars. Literally. Things went out of bounds. Way too far. And then there's people who didn't do it and stayed in bounds. And we're all saying come back in bounds, but you have to join us together. But you know what? Nobody has the confidence to say that shit. So if I were to rate my scale as being the Leo king, and having Venus retrograde in Leo, this is on my ascendant right now, and my Mercury, and being born with Sun in Leo, and being born with Mercury in Leo, my assessment of courage on the planet right now is like out of a 1 out of a 10, like a 1. Even though I know everybody underneath has a 10 underneath them. But knowing all these retrogrades and knowing how weird things are going to get and continue to get weirder, if you think it's going to get not weirder, maybe you need to relook at the astrology again. Maybe you need to remind yourself that we're in a full moon in Aquarius. Maybe you need to remind yourself that this one's square Jupiter. Things are not naturally aligned. And anything not naturally aligned is not going to go in a positive direction. The only natural thing to do if you take in a path that's not naturally aligned is to humble yourself and to come clean with yourself first and accept who you are and what's so weird and what is off. Trust me, all of us out there who didn't fucking fall for that shit love you. We don't hold a grudge. We just like putting it in that context to wake you up. But I'm talking to you from a true place of love where I'm willing to say, yeah, I roast the shit out of you motherfuckers out there. Because you all didn't you guys joined the Nazis. And literally had us fucking not be able to go do shit. What do you think they're going to set up next? We don't want that to happen to you. That's how fucking cool we are. Like, hello? So, the gifts are coming from what is natural, what is fertile, what is truly from the heart. And the heart is the courage to fucking be real, to be honest with all this Mercury, Mars, and Virgo, this Sun, Venus retrograde in Leo. It's finding courage again that you already had. But then you became so weak and you became so tired and you became so, more importantly, subdued into the easy subtleness of being sucked up. We're already past that cliff's edge and now we're in free fall. Some of us, at least, were smart enough to bring a rope, a parachute. But because it's such a long way down, a lot of people right now are just thinking it's fine. And I'm trying to give you a parachute here. I'm trying to remind you that these are very, very gnarly moments that continue to build up and we hit critical mass. You've already seen the government admit biological aliens. You've already seen everything be exposed by all the politics. I'm not even going to tell you which side's right or wrong because both are fucking wrong. That we've already reached a place to where you never thought things that would ever happen again have. It's just normal now to just go on your fucking phone and see the news of fucking war again. Nuclear bomb threats. Movies about building the nuclear bomb. Think it's normal? You think it's just... The only thing that's going to change things is when people can identify and be a guide with what they learned. Like, you know, so I'm coming from that very small percentage that didn't fall for it. We need to see the other 72% say something about how they fucking fucked up. They need to get to... They're the only ones that are going to get the answers. But, you know, like I said on my podcast with Rich Lopp today, I really am nervous because you read whether it's Supreme Court decisions made about genetics, and when a human's altered genetics are done, they don't get natural rights anymore, to the constant way that all these encroachments on our liberties just keep happening in every way. But they're targeting people who don't have natural law anymore. This is why you see the financial system doing its thing, the insurance rates going out of the roof, how many people are dying, how many people, and people just don't want to say anything, and they just don't talk about this shit. Don't talk. I don't want to hear it. I just want to hear about fucking this is Venus retrograde in Leo. I can tell you that it's not fun until you get, as a Leo with a Venus in Leo, I can tell you the only time it's fun is when we get this shit out of the way. It's not fun to go into a thing and know, like, there's this weird elephant in the fucking room, right? A lion's like, is this elephant cool? Or can we get this thing, like, to at least join the party or at least be real for a second? Like, you want to just keep fucking licking your Band-Aid full of leprosy from CVS and just keep thinking that it's fine? So... I mean, this is North Node Chiron. That's the biggest transit to me. I don't want to remind people, but I got to, that there is going to be a lot of wounded people. There's going to be a lot of people here who are going to have to feel like they got sacrificed, especially here at 19 degrees of Aries, exactly on the exalted degree for the sun. While we're in the sun in Leo right now, while Venus is retrograding, and we're going to see the Sun-Venus Cazimi in trine to Chiron, retrograde. There is a sacrificial event that's been happening for years and years and years, a shadow reality. I'm not afraid to tell you this shit the same way I wasn't afraid to tell you this shit in 2019. I wasn't afraid to tell you this shit in 2017. I've never been afraid to tell you what's happening. Never. That's a Leo. That's confidence. That's Leo. That's heart. That's love. Love is unconditional 24/7. There is no breaks. There is no scurrying into hurting other people by fucking actually doing an action in your life, right? Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt me. But actually being like, well, I guess I'm going to do this so I can do this to keep my job. Everybody who did that to keep their job doesn't even have a job anymore. Or fucking people have died at their job. Or if you were an actor, good, look at that. Oh, so I can keep doing work in Hollywood. No, yeah, there's no Hollywood anymore. So I can buy a house, so I can do this, so I can keep a fake fucking Federal Reserve going and a fucking... They are fucking... So the biggest lies are happening, whether it's fucking pole shift, that's the real cause of why people started freaking out and having weird symptoms, solar flares, making a fucking genome off a computer, off a quad, like literally off a fucking quantum super fucking computer that is surrounding us with AI everywhere today. Wake up. Wake up. I don't know what to tell you. Like, hello? And I'll say it again. You really think that the biologics in whatever they're saying is, they're not calling it they're saying it's a non-human biologics. You can't keep thinking it's some sort of physical alien. Okay, could be just a fucking rock full of some weird shit. Could be whatever. The whole point is, what and when did that come down here? And since we have just been experiencing shattered reality with Saturn square Neptune over the last couple of years, and here's this woman, you really don't think that they tried to experiment with that? Whatever those biologics are? And do a worldwide fucking event in order to fucking do a massive test? It sounds like an alien invasion to me. It already happened. So, you want to save yourself? If you fell for that, fucking get right with yourself. Be honest and start talking about it, and start talking about what you want to know, what the fuck's in that shit. You want to know what the fuck really happened. It's going to take that 72.6%. That's what's hard about this full moon in Aquarius, right? It's all the people that didn't follow their courage. A full moon opposing Sun in Leo with the first Venus retrograde in Leo in all of our lives. Last time we went in the same phase was 1772. All the people, guess what? Less than 10%, way less, of the whole population in 1772, all the way going into 1775, 1776 started to get to that 10%. But you have to remember, most of the people just shut their mouths and didn't say shit, and were too afraid, and were too afraid of the redcoats, and are too afraid of the fucking crazy fucking weird Biden Nazi fucking shit, and too afraid of fucking, oh, I don't want to say anything wrong, I don't want to do anything wrong, I want to nobody, most people just don't have the courage to say shit. It's sad. There's so many astrologers I love so dearly, and I love them no matter what, but they don't have the confidence to talk about this shit. They're too fucking pussy. They're sitting there in their South Node and Libra just fucking, I know I should be a divine truth speaker. I know I should use the astrology to help the world, but I'm not. No, there's fucking aliens and shit happening, whether it's real or whether it's not. And you don't hear anything from the spiritual community except for the fucking, you can tell it's the people who didn't fucking get fucking that fucking weird experiment, and it's people who are speaking truth in loud. Everybody who got the experiment ain't talking about it. Why? That's my big question. This is my big Virgo fucking opposed Saturn and Pisces. Like, why does nobody want to look at the real shit? Why does nobody want to look at that? Why is it that everybody I know that got that shit literally will not say a word in the world about it? Period. I dare them. This is my video daring this fucking YouTube community, daring this astrology community, daring this community to talk about it. They won't. They won't. So, without making full assumptions, because that would be an ass, but with using astrology and looking at North Node Chiron, maybe they have been taken over. I don't know. I mean, I really hope they haven't. But I told you a shattered reality was coming, and that is a shattered reality. So, and I'll end with some love, but also some hard love. I love you, Sophia. I'm so excited to have our child. You've been the most amazing woman in my life. You have been the most powerful, most strong woman I've ever met and ever seen. And to keep doing that. And I know it has been quite a journey for you to have to carry a baby and to go through that. And that's the most beautiful experience I've ever watched in my life. I'm so excited we're bringing a child into this world to help change this world. And I love you very much. To all those out there that support us, we truly appreciate your support and love you back. But the hard pill for you all to swallow is they told Sophia and I last week that they do extra tests here on her 39th week and this 40th week coming up because they've had nothing but stillbirths. And I'm not making that up. I am telling you that 100% for real. So when people want to know why I fucking get so amped about this shit and about continuing to not get off the subject, it's happening in daily life every day. It's at our front door. Like, you know what I mean? Bringing a child in this world. And they never brought up that fucking shot once. They have not given a fuck about one shot of anything. You know why? Because their only goal now is to try and at least have a baby survive pregnancy. So when you're on, when you get that fucking convo, and then your partner is fucking pregnant, going through the most intense stuff already, that's the most scariest and most beautiful experience at the same time, and that's what you hear. And even the weirdest part is when our ROB is just like, Sophia's my healthiest patient. And I told her like 4 months ago, I'm like, well, Sophia was born at home. She didn't go on that normal schedule, if you know what I mean, of things. They look at us, they look at Sophia like, put it this way, they don't worry about Sophia. You know why? They worry for these last 2 weeks because it's protocol now, but they don't worry because we were supposed to be doing like 2 days a week about a month ago, and they literally just slammed it on us here at the last minute because our doctor's smart enough to know, like, she didn't have it, she's safe, she's good. They're worried about all these other frickin' people. It's sad. We have watched so many couples go in there, and all you hear is the nurse, can you come with us? Let's talk about the issues some more. Let's figure out the non-stop. So it's not like I'm just saying this for attention. I'm saying this because I am a fucking Leo, and I have been a Leo the whole time, and I've never stopped. I've talked about everything for fucking over 12 fucking years on this fucking channel every fucking day. And then I moved it to fucking High Vibe because I told you they were going to do censorship. And look at fucking what happened. I told you they were going to fucking censor people. I told you they were going to fucking censor a fucking everything out there. I fucking told you that shit. I told you that they were going to make an experiment and it was going to go bad. And I told you in December of 2020, repeatedly, it's not going to work. And they're just going to sit there and lie to you and say it is. And it's going to take it and you're never going to get it. And they fucking, everything I said, they fucking did. And everything I said happened. And everything, even to the fucking date, I said that this is going to fucking be a new plague. And it's fucking using history and using all the fucking shows and using and building a network to fucking get the truth out to people. And just people just on this fucking place. I have no problem on this full moon in Aquarius. I have no problem on this very rare Venus retrograde on my ascendant Mercury right now to tell you all I love you. But at the same time, like, geez, wow, you're really going to hate on me for being right and for being real and for being transparent and for fucking trying to 100% show up all the time to make you better, to be more aware of what the fuck's going on. I mean, we're at a point to where it's like we're off the cliff. But you still want to fucking go watch people that aren't going to talk about shit and they're just going to tell you the same bullshit and fluff your ass the same way the media does. Yeah, and I'm not angry at all. I don't know who's in there saying I'm angry. Fucking like, relax. I'm passionate. There's a different... Leos, trust me, you know when we roar. This ain't me roaring. This is like... Go talk to a fucking Leo. Female or male. Guess what? What up, motherfucker? Like, you know what I mean? Like, us Leos are like, what up, yo? Doesn't matter if it's 4 in the morning for me right now, or if it's fucking 2 in the afternoon, it's 10 in the morning. I will wake up. What up, motherfucker? You know what I mean? Shit. Like, that's some courage. That's some fucking life. Live your life. Stop living in the shadows. Stop fucking... They have made people live in the shadows now. They've and completely have turned you into somebody out there. If you fell for that shit over this last 3 years, you have literally become a fucking the alien that now is really an alien. Right? We're already the aliens, but the weird part now is that you're the new part of what an alien is. Are you going to say something? Are you going to do something? Are you going to fucking say something? We don't care about what you did to us. All we care about is you. All we care about is fucking whether or not you're going to fucking unify so we can figure that shit out, what the fuck happened to you, and so we can fucking make sure that you don't fucking end up like all these people, all these mass deaths, all these fucking horrible situations. 18-year-olds having heart attacks on the fucking basketball court? Come on. You won't hear people talk about that shit. There's some. Not going to say it's not me, just only me. There's definitely others, but it's not that many. Just go watch your YouTube feed and go watch all your astrologers out there and fucking write down, go look at 100 of them and tell me how many fucking talked about that shit and what's really happening. You won't hear it. You'll probably see about 4 others, maybe 5. And thank God that they're out there. Because fucking, you're getting just a bunch of fluff and you're getting a bunch of shitty ass TikTok shit. It's just fucking weak. Weak. It's not even astrology. It's weak. And then you're getting a lot of great astrologers who are too afraid to step to the next level in astrology. So it's like, and they've been that way the whole time. And I'm sorry to say, but the old guard is done. They're done. They're tired. They have no more passion left in their bones. They have no more passion left in their heart. They have zero. They have nothing intriguing to say. They have nothing left. It's the same way in our politics. Not one of them will debate me about what's happened either. Not one. You know what they all did? Oh, I don't talk about that I'm friends with David. I just like keep it underground now. Pfft, talk about full moon in Aquarius as a Leo. Huh. Lucky I don't call fucking people out all the time because I've called people out before in my life, but I'm not going to call anybody out. But it's just like really sad. It's really sad now. All right. Queen of Pentacles upright. We got that. That's what, you know, definitely understanding the beautiful things that you already have. Stop looking for what you don't have. Look at what you do have and appreciate it and love it and see that the creation of all these things in the future are only on the things that you already have, that you already have within yourself first, and the things that you already have around you to move this life forward in your life. Second card I got here is the Star card upright. Shit. You know, it does feel odd. It does feel like the towers happen. It does feel like all we have left is this weird universe that we're trying to understand, but it's a beautiful energy. It's a rawness. It's the rawness of understanding that you already have all that you need, that you already were gifted with it. Right? Why aren't people speaking up or doing anything about anything or having the balls or having the courage to be fucking in that fucking true fire and in that true life and be the extrovert and extrovert their energy? It's because they don't think that they have it, or they think that they need to wait for it, or more importantly, they know they have it, but they have no more value in themselves anymore, and they have given up. And that's the hardest thing for me to watch and see. I love you all very much. I appreciate all the love and support. Next time I'll see you on YouTube for a horoscope, as far as like this, I'll be a father. I love you all very much. Thanks for the love and support and prayers. And I love and support all those people out there. And that 72.6% of people out there, I fucking pray every night, every day, every minute. And I have started, I warned for years, and I continued through the whole entire time that it was happening, prior to it happening, major warnings. I used every social platform. I used everything I fucking had. And I continue to still do it. And it just makes me so sad to see that so many people that you thought would speak up about these atrocities, speak up about these injustices, speak up about all this bullshit, don't say shit. Talk about a full moon in Aquarius. A bunch of people are just fucking all freaked out because they're just like, I don't know. They've been taken over. That's the last thing that I can actually get, unless they can prove me wrong. And I hope I am proven wrong. I pray that they have not been taken over by what you don't even want to know. It's that apparent. That's why you're seeing all these events and all these stories coming out at the same time. That's where it's all going to connect to. I love you all.
Okay. Monster. Attention, please.